Let me ask you a question. What's one thing you've been wanting to say but haven't? Maybe it's asking for that promotion. Maybe it's sharing an idea in a meeting. Maybe it's starting the business that's been deep inside of you. Maybe it's simply speaking up and sharing your ideas. What's stopping you? For most people, it isn't a lack of talent. It isn't a lack of opportunity. It isn't even a lack of ability. You have that. I believe it's hesitation. And hesitation has a price. It costs us opportunities. It costs us confidence. It can even cost us relationships. And sometimes it costs us things and moments that we can never get back. You see, hesitation cost me something that I can never get back. Growing up, my grandpa Joe was my absolute hero. He was a mentor. He was a father figure for me when I really needed one. And I never forget, he passed away in 1994, and I was sitting on the front row at my grandpa Joe's funeral, tears dripping down my face. And there was an open invitation. And the minister said, if anyone would like to come and share remarks about Joe, come on up front. As I sat there listening to person after person come up and share how my grandpa Joe had impacted them. And I heard words like patient, servant leader, how he was such a caring person. Deep down inside, I was like, yes, my grandfather impacted me, and I wanted to share it. One of my relatives leaned over and said, hey, little Mike, are you going to go up and speak? I sat there, tears down my eyes. I wanted to, but I didn't. You see, I allowed hesitation to show up and start whispering in my ears, oh, you're not a public speaker. Someone already said what you're going to say. Michael, just stay seated, just stay seated. And I listened. And that regret stayed with me for years. You see, I allowed hesitation to keep me from sharing with that audience, friends, family, loved ones, of how my grandpa Joe had impacted me. It wasn't because I didn't have the words, it's because I refused to find my voice that day and utilize it. So, friends, I am Michael J. Pope Jr. I work with high achievers who want to stop hesitating and take bold action. And today I'm going to talk to you about how doers win the day and how you can break free from that hesitation and find your voice. Now, I know you're watching this pre-recorded. And so I'm going to share with you how I believe you can get the most out of this session here. Number one, I want you to be fully present. I understand this is a video that you have the ability to pause, to rewind, and all of that. Do your best to be fully present as you're watching it. Invest in yourself. I'm asking you to give up something that you can never get back, which is time. Take the time and invest it in yourself right now. Be fully present in what you're going to learn here today. Take notes. Also, have an open mind. I'm going to share some ideas, some concepts with you. Some may be familiar, some may be brand new and seem a little hokey. Just relax. Have an open mind about it. Also, lighten up. Hey, we're going to have fun. This is virtual. You're watching a video, but I still want you to lighten up and have fun. Breaking free from hesitation shouldn't be tense. Finding your voice shouldn't be a tense moment. You should be able to be relaxed, be yourself, be fully present. Then also play full out. And what that means in a virtual environment is that I want you to take notes, really answer the questions. So you're going to hear from a lot of amazing speakers, and they're going to have you thinking through questions. Take time, write your answers down. Because it only benefits you. Like no one is going to be checking your notes to see if you were truly paying attention, but you'll know. Deep down inside, you'll know whether or not you're playing full out. So as we get started, I want you to really think into this first question here. I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to play a song. And I want you to really listen to the words of this song as you're answering this question. So what I want you to think about is, what do you really want? right? What do you really want to achieve in your life? And then I want you to answer these 3 questions. If fear wasn't a factor, what would I go after? What has been something that I've been thinking about but not acting on? Right? That thing that's deep down in you, you're like, man, I know I should be doing this. What is your should be? And then what would I regret not doing if nothing changed? So as you answer those questions, I'm going to play a short song. And I really want you to take these words in and be truthful with yourself as you answer these questions.
What do I want? If fear wasn't a factor, what would I go after? What have I been thinking about, but not acting on? If nothing changed, what would I regret not doing? There's a quiet voice inside my chest saying I don't have to settle for less. Every dream I tried to ignore keeps knocking louder than before. I've been waiting for the perfect sign, but maybe now is the perfect time. What do I want? If I finally let myself believe there's a life that's bigger than the fear in me. What do I want? If I trust what I feel and stop standing still and make it real. What if the door's already open? What if the risk is the way? What if the life I imagine is one decision away? What do I want? I don't need all the answers tonight, just the courage to step into the light. What do I want? Right here, right now. I'm done waiting around. What do I want? What do I want? I'm ready now.
Are you ready? Hopefully you really listened to those words and you wrote down the answers on your paper. Really took those words of this song in to your spirit. You're ready. All right. So now let's get into this. So I talk a lot about, and I want you to think about, what does winning today mean to you? Think about today. What 1 to 3 things will make today a win for you? Think about it. When you lay your head on your pillow at night, and you can look back at your day and reflect and say, man, this was an absolutely amazing day. I accomplished the goals that I wanted to accomplish. I spoke up when I wanted to speak up. I did the things that I know that I should be doing. So what does that look like for you? You see, when I think about winning today, here's what it comes to mind for me. It means taking intentional, empowered action to move closer to your goals, right? That intentional, empowered action to move closer to your goals, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. But the key word here is intentionality, right? We have to be intentional as we're moving forward. Intentional about using your voice to accomplish your goals. Intentional about doing the things that you know you should be doing. That's what I believe winning the day is. And so I'm going to share a quick winning the day moment with you. You heard at the very beginning of how I allowed fear to keep me from sharing my voice at my grandfather's funeral back in 1994. Well, that fear stayed with me for many years until I did something about it. And I'll share with you what I did to overcome it. And because of that, because I've been on a path of constantly winning the day, I've had great winning the day moments. And so I'm going to share one of those with you. Last year, I had an opportunity. Someone contacted me about an opportunity to speak in Sydney, Australia. All expenses paid. I was able to bring my wife along with it. This was our first time going to Australia. We delivered a keynote there. And for me, this was a dream come true. It was a great winning the day moment when we sat in our room looking back like, man, this is what our life looks like now. This is a true winning the day moment for us. And I got to tell you a little secret. My winning the day moment didn't happen the day I received that phone call. You see, it happened in the years prior to me working on the skills, finding my voice, and utilizing it to help me win every single day. Every single day. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about. How you can be a doer, how you can break free of hesitation, find your voice, and have those winning the day moments that you've been dreaming about. But see, what I realize is that a lot of people don't win the day because of their mindset. And I believe there's 8 mindsets that potentially keep people stuck from winning their day. And I'm going to share those with you real quick here. And as you're going through this, as you're seeing this list of 8, I want you to think about which ones stand out the most for you. I'll share what stands out for me, but think about which ones stand out for you when it comes to your mindset that's stopping you from truly winning the day, to realizing those moments that you know you were designed for. So number 1 is the intention gap. I didn't decide what winning the day looked like. That's why at the very beginning, I wanted you to write down what a winning day looks like for you, because we have to have that clarity of what it looks like. Because if you don't know what it looks like, how do you know when you actually achieve it? Unless you have that intentionality. The second is the clarity. I wasn't sure what to focus on. That's a lot of people. We have extremely busy days. We do a whole lot. Like wheels are constantly spinning, but we don't feel like we're winning because you haven't developed that clarity of what you should be focused on. And we're going to talk more about that focus. The third is the energy gap. I let little things, I didn't manage my energy, just my time. This happens to so many people. They get to the end of the day at night and they're just exhausted. Man, they're like, man, where did the day go? Where did the week go? Where did the month go? Where did the first half of the year go? Because they're just being busy, but they're not fully managing their energy. See, I believe that when you go to bed at night, you should feel energized knowing that you won the day, that you had an absolutely amazing day. Yeah, maybe you're a little tired, you're ready to rest, but you're like, man, I know I put my all in. I did it. I managed my energy and ready to go, ready to wake up the next day and win the day. But you have to be intentional about managing your energy. The fourth one on this list, the distraction gap. When you let the little things steal your attention. And with all the technology that we have going on today, distraction is huge for a lot of people. Hey, I'm guilty of it. Technology, the buzzes, interrupted rings, extra conversations, right? Little things are quick to steal your attention. An ad pops up on social media. You hear about a sale. They distract you from winning the day. You've got to be able to manage that. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Number 5 is the confidence gap. I doubted myself, so I delayed. I know for me, this was a big one for me. I grew up with a low self-image. I didn't like talking to people. I didn't like utilizing my voice. I really didn't believe I had a voice. I didn't believe I had things to share. It was a low self-confidence. And that was a big gap for me that I had to overcome. Next is the motivation gap. Waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel inspired before I took action. See, high achievers understand that action creates that momentum that you need. That you don't wait for a certain feeling or inspiration to take action. You just take the action. Then the inspiration will show up. And to be honest with you, sometimes it may not show up. However, you can still win by taking the action. Next is the comparison gap. Others seem further along. Why even try? This gap here stops so many people because you're looking around comparing themselves to other people, comparing themselves to other people in their field, at their company, like, oh, this person's been here longer than me. That was me for so many years. See, my background in corporate America is in information technology. I'm a computer science graduate. I worked as an IT professional for many years. When I first started my career, I didn't have a voice. I would sit in these meetings, and I would have amazing ideas. See, I'm a natural problem solver. So I would hear the problem and I immediately would have ideas. But I wouldn't raise my hand and share because I would say, oh, such and such has been here longer than me. They probably have a better idea. I would do that over and over. And then I would hear someone say the thing that was on the top of my mind already, and it was accepted. And I was like, man, I had that idea first, but I delayed. I hesitated because I was comparing where I was with other people. There was a gap in my life stopping me from truly winning the day. And the last one on this list of 8 is the hesitation gap. And this by far was my biggest. I knew what to do, but I didn't act. That's those moments where I knew exactly what I should say. I had the words, right? They were here. I had the words, but I wouldn't share them. I hadn't found my voice. I wasn't comfortable hearing myself speak for fear of, oh, I may not say it exactly right. Or I may not explain it so they fully understand it. Like lots of doubt. I would hesitate, knowing, man, I've got this idea. I want to share it with them, but I would wait. And the scary thing about hesitation is time still moves on. But sometimes those opportunities never come back. I know I've lost opportunities that will never come back. Even at my grandfather's funeral, I've talked about my grandfather all around the world as I've been speaking. Yet that moment at his funeral will never happen again. No matter how many times I tell people about my grandpa Joe, I'll never get the moment back in front of that particular audience, those family members, and being able to share what he meant to me. That opportunity is past. So, friend, I want you to think about, what is hesitation costing you? You see, hesitation always charges a price. It's going to be something. For me, hesitation has cost me time, so much time. I turned 52 earlier this year, right back in April. Where did the time go? And I look at how many opportunities I missed due to hesitation. Opportunities to speak up and share my voice, share my thoughts, but I hesitated. Hesitation has cost me money, so much money. Hesitation has cost me opportunities that, like I said before, I'll never get back. And I had to find a way to break free of that. And that's what I'm going to be talking with you all about in a little bit. But I want you to get clarity on, what is it really costing you? Really examine it. You hesitating on speaking up, asking for a promotion at work, asking to be on a certain project. What is that hesitation costing you? Let me tell you about another time hesitation cost me something. This is back when I was in high school. It was 1991. I was transitioning from my junior year to my senior year, and I was part of a high school organization called Friends of Distinction. And that organization, the way it worked was, when you're as a rising senior, you had the opportunity to nominate yourself as president the current president at the time and some of my classmates came to me and said, "Hey, Michael, are you going to nominate yourself for president?" They said, "If you do, we'll vote for you. We think you'll make a great president." I remember listening to them and saying, "Oh, yeah, that's president. That sounds great." And the way the organization worked, you had to be willing to use your voice. So at our banquet, at our seniors banquet, our current president stood up and he said, "For any of the rising seniors, would any of you want to nominate yourself as president for the coming year?" And I sat there thinking about it. Friends were nudging me, elbowing me, saying, "Michael, go nominate yourself, nominate yourself." You see, my friends couldn't nominate me. The way the organization worked, you had to be the one to nominate yourself. Because they knew that if you weren't willing to speak up at that moment to nominate yourself, then you're not going to be willing to speak up at moments that counted for the organization. So I sat there thinking about it, thinking about it. And then another one of my classmates, Robbie, he stood up and said, Robbie, I nominate myself as the next year's president." And my heart dropped when he nominated himself. And I sat there like, and people were like, go, nominate yourself. You next, you next. I wouldn't do it. I said, "Oh, Robbie will make a better president than me. He's a better speaker, a better leader than I am." I said, "I'll be a good vice president. I'm a good support player." I let that moment pass me by. Not because I wasn't capable, not because other people wouldn't have voted for me, but because I allowed hesitation to keep me silent. So I want you to think about this. What is one thing that you've been hesitating on that you know you should be doing? Is it a phone call? Maybe a conversation, a difficult conversation that you know you should be having? What is it for you? We all have them. We all have those things we know we should be doing. What are you hesitating on? Really dig into that. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to share your answers with anyone else, but really dig deep. What are you currently hesitating on? Where's the opportunity for you to use your voice? You see, for me, many years, I would sit in audiences and I would watch speakers on stage. And I would be like, "Man, I have a message that would be great at this conference." I didn't use my voice to tell people that I even wanted to speak. I would just sit there and deal with regret. I had the knowledge, I had the skills. You're probably the same way. You probably already had the degree, you had the experience, you have that level of expertise that people need to know about. So why are you hesitating? You see, at the end of the day, your life won't be defined by what you know, but by what you do. Right? We don't know about Thomas Edison based on his knowledge. We know about him because of what he did with his knowledge. And so that's so important. You see, I dealt with hesitation and regret for years, holding on to my voice. You see, I graduated college in 1997. I was shy, extremely introverted, and I constantly silenced my ideas. Fortunate for me, I met a mentor, a gentleman by the name of Percy. He was an entrepreneur, and he introduced me to the world of personal development. And he put me on a journey to help me find my voice. And that opened up doors of opportunity where I started reading books and learning from some absolutely amazing people. And people like one of my current mentors, John C. Maxwell. And see, John has an amazing quote. He says, "Growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow can get better." Think about that. Growth is the only guarantee that my tomorrow or your tomorrow can get better. And for me, I knew that my growth was my responsibility. So I had to grow. And I had to do whatever it took to grow myself so that I could start using my voice the way I wanted to with no regrets. So my journey started in 1997. reading books, listening to audio programs, live training, and working on my public speaking. Because I still had a fear of public speaking. I started growing myself. I started speaking up in meetings a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I knew I had to grow my public speaking. And I'll never forget, it was 2003, and I joined my first speaking group. And they asked me to give a short 4-minute talk about me. And friends, I was absolutely terrified. You see, I'm a natural introvert, as I mentioned, terrified of public speaking. And I'm an IT professional, which means I'd rather work on a computer than talking with you. That day, I sat in my seat anticipating being called up. Hesitation showed up in my ear and gave me a bad case of the what ifs. Oh, Michael, what if you forget your lines? What if they don't like you? Michael, what if you completely embarrass yourself? As I sat there listening to hesitation, thinking about what excuse can I give to not have to give this speech? Can I say that my stomach hurts, or I'm not fully prepared, or what can I say? But fortunately, when my name was called up, I flicked hesitation off my shoulder and I nervously walked to the front of that room. And I remember shaking hands with the person who introduced me, and my hands were dripping with sweat as if I had just dipped them in a bucket of water. My mouth felt completely dry as if I had been chewing on cotton balls all morning long. And I remember grabbing my notes and I said, "Hello, my name is Michael Pope. This is nice to meet you all." Those 4 minutes felt like 4 hours. And guess what? I did forget my lines, and that's okay. I did slightly embarrass myself, and that's okay. And in that small room of maybe 12 or so people, there may have been one or two people who didn't like me, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I realized I used my voice. I started using my voice for a purpose. You see, James Clear said it's best in his book, Atomic Habits. He says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. And for me, I needed a system to help me start utilizing my voice on a regular basis. And so my system for doing that is DOER. I wrote a book about it, Doers Win the Day. But that's my system, DOER. So I'm going to quickly walk you through this as we wrap this up. D in DOER stands for discipline, right? Anything worthwhile is going to take some discipline. Discipline isn't a bad word. Discipline is a great thing once you properly apply it. And so my mentor, Joseph McLean III, says that discipline is doing the prescribed activity no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult. It's doing the prescribed activity no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult. And so for me, when I joined that first speaking club, I had a mentor, a woman by the name of Carol. And Carol said, "Michael, I want you to discipline yourself to study other communicators." She said, "Discipline yourself to study other communicators." And she helped me out. She gave me audio cassettes. She gave me books and VHS tapes back in the day. This was in the early 2000s. She gave me those items to help me start studying other communicators. See, that was key to my growth, studying those other communicators, learning from them, not trying to imitate any one communicator, but learning the skills and the strategies that they use, how they overcame their fear or their hesitation with using their voice, how they properly use their voice to make a point. The second thing I had to do, I had to discipline myself with personal growth. You see, I mentioned before, I had a low self-image. I suffered from imposter syndrome and fear and doubt. So I had to go dive deep into personal growth and grow myself. Reading books on speaking, reading books on personal growth and leadership and all of that. I had to dive deep into it to work on the man in the mirror. And the third thing that I needed to do was I had to discipline myself to focus on working on my speaking skills over and over and over. I couldn't just do it one time. I had to constantly discipline myself to work on my speaking skills by speaking over and over and over. And I'm still doing that today. So I want you thinking about yourself. What is one area in your life where you can apply more discipline? You know what it is. We all know what we need to be doing. What is your one area? Quickly moving on to O, endure. O is all about one thing. It's really about focus. See, Gary Keller says it best in his book. He says, you can do anything, but not everything. So focus on the one thing that will make the biggest difference. So what is your one thing when it comes to finding your voice that you know you should be doing? So for me, my one thing when it came to speaking was to take advantage of every opportunity to speak. My mentor early on, she said, Michael, she said, if you show up at a meeting and there's no speakers on the agenda, I want you to volunteer to give a speech. She said, when you show up at work and you're in these meetings, she said, always ask at least one question and make one statement in that meeting. Because she knew that I would sit there holding on to my ideas and not speaking up. So she wanted to challenge me. Michael, take advantage of every opportunity to speak. Really, every opportunity to share your voice. So think about yourself. What is the one thing that you need to focus on to achieve your goals? What is the one thing you should be focused on to help you find your voice? You know what it is. Focus on it. Quickly moving on to E. E, endure, is all about eliminating excuses and distractions. Excuses and distractions. Early in my career, I was full of excuses, full of them. You heard some of them earlier. It was that, hey, I'm an introvert and I don't like talking in front of people, and someone has better ideas than me. Lots and lots of excuses. But see, excuses are just the language of hesitation. Things like I'm new, or I don't want to look bad, or I'm waiting until I feel more confident, or I'm waiting until someone invites me to speak up. We have to eliminate those excuses. And just like excuses, distractions will stop you as well. Think about yourself. What distraction steals most of your time? Is it your phone? Is it social media? Is it other people? Is it focusing on the wrong goals or the wrong opportunities? That can be a distraction. Even personal growth can be a distraction. I know there's some people who they'll read books during times that they should be taking action. It's a distraction. So for me, something that helped me work on this was the Eisenhower matrix. I learned about this from Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits. So with the Eisenhower matrix, you have urgent, not urgent at the top, important and not important. And so what the matrix says is if something is urgent and it's important, do that first. That might be a client deadline, something related to your health, some type of immediate issue. Do that first before you do anything else. Do the urgent, important things first. Now, if something is important, but it's not truly urgent, you can schedule it. That might be your strategic planning, some type of skill building, even personal growth. I think personal growth is important. However, I know that I shouldn't be working on personal growth during hours of the day when I should be making a phone call or doing an income producing activity. But I can schedule my personal growth in, right? I can schedule that plan that I know I need to work on a regular basis. But I don't necessarily, it's not urgent. Next, if it's urgent but not important, I mean, it might be urgent for someone else, but it's not necessarily important for you. Can you delegate it? Right? That might be a routine email, some unnecessary meetings, interruptions. Can you delegate it? This is where a virtual assistant comes into play or some other resource. Even AI nowadays, you can schedule certain things so AI does some of the automation so you're not having to. So it's freeing up your time. And then this last quadrant here, this is the dangerous one here. If it's not urgent and it's not important, you either need to delete it or limit the amount of it. Social media scrolling, low impact busy work, drama, gossip, all of that. I love social media. I know that social media is something that's not urgent and it's not important. I use it for my business, but I schedule my content for social media. Or I schedule time to get on social media. But I'm not just going to be wasting hours of my day, productive hours of my day on social media. So you delete it or limit it. Quickly moving on to R as I wrap things up here. R is all about responsibility. When I say responsibility, I mean personal responsibility for your actions and your attitude. You see, those are the only two things that we have complete control over. Complete control over our attitude and our actions. Meaning I control how I think or how I respond to things, and I control what I do with my time. Complete control over it. I can't control whether someone says yes or no. I can't control whether someone likes me or doesn't like me. I can't control whether someone receives my voice or not. No control over that. But I do have control over my actions and my attitude as I'm going through it. And so my mentor, Joseph McLean III, says that your actions will always tell the truth about your intentions. And he's so right. If I say that my intention is to get on more speaking stages, more stages to speak, and you come back and say, hey, Michael, this past week, based on your actions, have you applied to any speaking engagements? And if I say no, you say, well, hey, have you made any phone calls about speaking? And I say no. Then my actions are telling you that the truth about my intentions is I really don't want to get on those speaking stages because my action doesn't line up with it. So here's some things that can help you out with that. Number one is set your emotional tone before the world does. So what that means is in the morning, when you wake up, you choose your attitude. For me, it's looking in the mirror and saying, Michael, today is going to be a great day. You're going to have an absolutely amazing day. You're going to accomplish your goals. You're going to impact people. And I'm reaffirming to myself how amazing today is going to be. I set my emotional tone. I don't let other people do that. I use affirmations that align with my actions, meaning I am speaking those things that I am planning or intending to do out into the world. Start with one intentional task the first 5 minutes. Do something to win the day. I'm big on winning the day. Do something intentional to win the day within your first 5 minutes. And then you have to celebrate the journey, not the progress. Stop and relax and just celebrate. Man, Michael, hey, you did great. You spoke over that meeting. Great job. I used to do that to myself all the time. I would be patting myself on the back, even on the table, like, yes, I asked the question that I wanted to ask. I made the statement in the meeting that I wanted to make. And I celebrate that progress. It doesn't matter how well it was received, whether they adopt my idea or not. But at least I know that I used my voice. So friends, as I'm wrapping this up on how to be a doer, one of the things I want to encourage you to do is you can scan this QR code here and learn more about what level of doer you are and what's causing you to hesitate. This 2-minute assessment will kind of take you through that. And I think if you take time and take that assessment and just learn more about yourself, learn more about the thing that's stopping you from using your voice. You see, I just want to remind you, I am Michael Pope, reminding you that life doesn't reward hesitation. It doesn't. It rewards action. And doers win the day. And so I want to encourage you to use your voice and win your day every single day. I am Michael Pope. It has been my absolute pleasure to share with you today. And friends, I hope you find your voice.